Hi there, this is Dominique Dejean Craig, and for tonight's video, we are going to talk about Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and the state of the election. But mostly we're going to be talking about Joe Biden because today, every day, this guy is like a joke that continues to write itself. My goodness. I get up in the morning and sure enough, if Mike Pence isn't getting busy over in Wisconsin, So you got him getting busy over here in Wisconsin. Over there in Wisconsin. And then you got President Trump. He's getting busy in California. Two of them over in Nevada. I think this will be the third one over in Arizona. He's kicking butt. He's really getting busy. So Joe Biden responded from his backyard. He gave an address alone by himself out there with the tall grass. Now, I'm not kidding. Alone in his backyard by the tall grass, Joe Biden gave an address. And during that address, and I wish I would have listened to more of it, he called Trump a climate denier and a climate arsonist. Now let's unpack this right quick. A climate denier? Nobody's denying that there's climate. There's climate. Nobody's, wait a minute. Climate arsonist? Now that sounds like some junk you just made up. That sounds like some junk you just made up. Climate arsonist? That makes about as much sense as a booty-flavored lollipop. So, anyway, what Biden is trying to do, he's trying to pivot. He's trying to shift. His old message of black victimhood, it failed to deliver the black vote. So watch the Democrats up until the election. They probably won't be mentioning very much about black people at all. Now, they've tried a number of attacks on the president. None of them worked because it was all he say, she say, kind of like some high school stuff, from years ago. But anyway, back to the pivot. So they've decided that they're going to blame the fires on Trump. They're going to blame the California fires on Trump. Now, how do they do that? Well, they do that by blaming climate change on Trump. I know. It sounds pretty crazy, right? Like he's been in office 3 years and they're blaming the California, Oregon, Washington wildfires on Trump. Now, climate arsonist. So first of all, that is just completely ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense at all. But that tells you what they're trying to do. They're trying to pretend that these fires are a direct result of global warming and that President Trump is responsible for global warming. Now, this can't be the case. If global warming is responsible for the fires, then why is it that the fires stop at the Canadian border? What? Global warming stops at the Canadian border? What about all of these people that they are catching, these arsonists who are out there setting these fires? I gotta be honest, man. Let's be real. Global warming does not start forest fires. Forest fires are started by poor and irresponsible forestry. About 40 years ago, California decided, okay, we're not cutting down any trees. We're not going to clear any grass, none of that. We're going to save the squirrels. We're going to save the spotted owl and all this. We're going to save the environment for these animals, and we're not going to cut down anything. And you're not allowed to cut down any trees either. And so you do that. And the next thing is that everybody wants to live in California. So all of the good places to build houses are already full. So what they have to do is they have to build houses in risky burn areas. And 50% of the new housing is built in risky burn areas. 50%. Entire towns are burning down. Entire towns. While that's going on, while they're building in risky areas, California decided that by a certain period of time, we were going to have, I don't know what it is, 10, 15, 25% of our grid on complete renewables, that being solar and wind. And a lot of pressure was put on PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, to make this transition. So instead of investing in their crumbling infrastructure, they invested in tomorrow's energy, which never came today. And the power lines just got older and riskier and older and riskier. And the power lines caused some of the fires as well. But they want you to believe that the policies of the Trump administration are responsible for global warming, and that global warming is responsible for the fires that you see in California. And I just got to tell you that this is complete ridiculousness. What they're trying to do, they're trying to push through this Green New Deal thing. Now, the Green New Deal, let's be honest, this is what they want to do. They want to switch the United States to complete renewables. That would be no oil and gas. They want to do all wind and solar. That's what they want to do. Now, okay, you get rid of oil and gas, and Obama was with all of this, mind you. Oil and gas grew in spite of Obama, but Obama did what he could to get the drilling done in other countries. Mexico, off the shores of Colombia, and other places down around Central and South America, while he was closing down coal and steel in the United States. Now, people would have you believe that coal is a thing of the past. But now let's take a look at this. Over the last 10 years, the global demand for coal has shot up 65%. Now, that coal should be coming from the United States, but it no longer is. Now, Trump came through. He reversed a lot of these policies. He did try to bring coal back, but it's just been so beaten down that that's a sector we don't know. We are number one in oil. We are number one in gas. We are a net exporter. Now, let's take a look. If we stopped drilling and we stopped producing oil and gas and steel, and we'll get to that in a minute, we stopped producing those things, well, we wouldn't stop needing them. So that means we would have to buy gas. And that means we would probably have to be kissing the asses of the Saudi Arabians. Now, if we're kissing the asses of the Saudi Arabians, then that means we have to support their military conflicts because we're the ones with the military. We don't want them getting the arms from anybody else. So, pow. We got troops in Iraq. We got troops in Afghanistan. We got troops in Syria. We got troops in Qatar. We got troops in Saudi Arabia itself. Okay. Trump gets in. He reverses a lot of this stuff. Now the United States is number one in oil and gas. Now we're exporting. So now he's able to bring the troops home from Afghanistan, home from Iraq, home from Syria, because we don't need to have them over there. And that comes with having your own oil and gas and not having to buy it. And not just that, but steel. They were trying to shut down steel. We would have had to buy all of our steel from China. Now, if we had to buy our oil and gas from Saudi Arabia and our steel from China, these are strategic. These things are of strategic importance. That means that we wouldn't be in control of our military. We wouldn't be in control of our foreign policy. And after a while, we wouldn't be in control of our domestic policy. Now, there's more. While this is going on, let's just say that all of this stuff took place. Well, the number one consumer of oil and gas is the military. And the number two polluter is meat. The production of meat produces methane gas for obvious reasons, that cows poop. And poop, you know the rest. So what are we going to do? We're all going to go vegan. So we're all going to go vegan, okay? We're all going to ride bicycles, and we're all going to We're going to return to an agricultural society. Well, our enemies are not. And they're going to continue. They're going to be, I'll tell you what, this is what you would see if we put the Green New Deal in. Well, when Obama was in, Russia was number one in oil and gas. And, we had troops. We were dropping bombs, and we had troops in 7 different countries. It was jacked up. We don't know what was going on in Syria with ISIS. Yes, we do, but nobody wants to talk about it. I mean, on and on and on, on and on and on. His supposed drawdowns turned into double downs. But now that we're number one in oil and gas, we can bring the troops home. So, that's important. There's a lot that's going on with this whole Green New Deal thing. And it's a farce too. It's a farce. Let's take a look at wind. Wind power as it exists today powers 3% of the country. For that 3%, they kill 500,000 bats and 1.5 million birds every year. Some of those birds are endangered species. Bald eagles, condors, hawks. If you shot one, you would get jail time. And then, of course, the wind turbines eventually wear out, and they have to be disposed of, and they're not biodegradable. So you have to put them in a landfill. The energy that it takes to produce a wind farm, well, there's nothing green about that. Solar, as it exists with modern solar panels, a football field of solar panels will power about 10 houses. And solar farms, they break down too. My goodness. None of this stuff is going to work. None of this stuff. You throw that in with the fact that they want open borders, but we're building the wall. They want sanctuary cities. These are the same people. They want free healthcare and free college education for illegal aliens. You put all of this together with shutting down our economy, shutting down oil and gas and steel. After a while, and I guess it wouldn't take long before the country was completely bankrupt, and we would have to start all over with socialism. And it would have to happen. Sooner or later, our enemies would sense our weakness, and they would surround us, and they would take advantage of us like they had been doing under 8 years of Barack Obama. But keep going. So they're trying to bring in this communism, and they're open about it. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, they're open about it. Bernie Sanders, AOC, they're calling it socialism, but it's communism. It's the same thing as calling Bigfoot Sasquatch. Nonetheless, so here's what's really going on. Along with communism, right, they have to kill religion. That's why they tried to shut down the churches, but leave the liquor stores open. They want your God to be the state. They want you to be completely dependent on the state and worshiping the state. And we're moving in that direction. They want everybody be completely dependent on the state. And this whole idea that man can affect the climate, you know what, man, that is straight paganism. That is, okay, man can affect the climate, so what's next? We're going to start sacrificing people like the Mayans did? Let's get right down to this. This whole climate change thing, they do this thing in Antarctica where they're able to drill through the ice and pull up samples of ice from thousands of years ago and determine how the weather was thousands of years ago. And 24,000 years ago, the temperature on the earth was 2 degrees hotter than it is today. So, and this whole thing that the scientists agree that what scientists? What do they agree on? So, but anyway, let's just say that climate change was real as they're putting it. But I would like to point out to you that when I was a little boy, they had me afraid of the coming ice age, and then the ozone layer, and then acid rain, and then global warming. And none of this mess happened. None of this mess came true. So now they just call it global climate change. This is elastic, and it allows them to claim that anything that happens with the weather, man is responsible for, and we should be ashamed of ourselves. It's hot. It's really hot. Global climate change. You should be ashamed of yourself. Why are you not riding a bike? It's cold. It's really cold. Global climate change. You can see where this is going. It's raining. It's sunny. It's windy. Global climate change. Man is destroying the earth. We have to save the earth. You should be ashamed of all of man's accomplishments, because all of man's accomplishments are destroying the earth. It's the new paganism. And they have to destroy our belief in God to get us to sign on to it. And that's why they keep trying to shut the churches, and that's why they keep going after religious freedom. That's why. And you know what? I mean, take a survey, take a look around you, You will see that the climate change alarmists in your circle, they're mostly atheists. Mostly. Nonetheless, I like to talk about what's really going on and why you should not be scared about climate change. The earth is greener today than it was 20 years ago. Greener today than it was 20 years ago. Let's start with China. China had to stop the expanse of the Gobi Desert. So they went on a tree planting spree like crazy. And they planted, I don't know, trillions of trees. So many that you can see them from space. And they stretch from the west of China all the way over to the east of China. They invented a gel that you could put in the sand, and you could plant the trees and you could irrigate them. They started taking back the Gobi Desert. So many trees that you can see them from space. India is right next to China. India, they some record, like 1.4 million trees in one day they planted. India's planting trees as well. They're doing it because, well, they need agriculture to feed their people. And that's what it comes down to. China and India, they need the agriculture to feed their people. Pakistan is right next to them. I don't have any numbers on Pakistan, but they're doing the same thing. This tree planting thing, it's going on, okay? Western Europe, I don't know if you've ever been there, but you've never seen so many forests in your life. That's what I'm going to say about that. Right. Africa, they're doing it. They call it the Green Wall, and they're building a green wall across the middle of Africa to stop the Sahara Desert from going south. It's not complete, and it's not as impressive as what's going on in China and India, but it's going on. In Brazil, they're replanting the rainforest. Regardless of what they're trying to tell you, there are pictures out there where you can see where 20 years ago it was clean cut and pow, now it's rainforest, like the rainforest just took itself back. In Brazil, the way they do it is they mix all the seeds together, and then you reach into the bag and you plant them. You just drop the seeds right into the earth, and the seeds come out and they fight for the life. They fight for the sun. And that's how it is in the real life. So they're really replanting the rainforest for real in Brazil. And that's a good thing. This is taking place in Argentina. It's taking place in Central America. Mexico is doing it in the south because, the poorest regions of Mexico are in the south, Guerrero and Oaxaca. And they're doing it in the south of Mexico and Honduras to create jobs, because trees is money. Trees is big money. So that's what's going on in Mexico. And then in the United States, what Trump has done, right, while all these other people are talking about what they want to do, they're talking about Trump has he's expanded the offshore drilling ban to both sides of the coast of Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. And he's put the United States in the 1 trillion trees initiative. So the United States is replanting. There's replanting going on in Canada, the United Kingdom as well. I don't know what happened to all their trees. Russia has so many trees that they're actually clearing some of the trees to create farmland. That's how many trees they have. They have that many trees. The earth is greener today than it was 20 years ago. Greener today. And it continues to get greener. So these people who are telling you that you need to ride a bike and eat tofu, and that socialism is a good thing or whatnot, I just want you to know that you don't have to be afraid of the world suddenly coming to your world might suddenly come to an end, but the world will not. And if it were to come to an end, it wouldn't be because you're driving a gas guzzling car or because you eat steak or something like that. So you don't have anything to be afraid of. Don't let them scare you. And I'm voting for Trump, and I hope that you are too. Thank you.